Today we're filming for Lebanon.
Welcome to Wonkeyjase.
This week on Wonkeyjase, we're covering basic monthly car maintenance checks. Something that everybody can do. Well, not everybody, but most people. So we're going to look at the radiator, the IR, the screen wash, the wipers, and the tyres. Oh, let's go. So once the car's open, you need to open the bonnet, and on this particular model, you've got a handle that you have to pull. Some of them you have to pull twice. Then there's a little clip underneath the bonnet itself that you have to sort of ferry around and try and find that. And once up, pull up the prong, hold up the bonnet, and then we're good to go for the other stuff. Woohoo! So we're going to start off easy and go for the screen wash. So ours is indicated by the picture there. So you just find a funnel with a lid on that has that picture, and that would be the screen wash. Just clip it open, tuck it in underneath somewhere, and then you can either use water or a dedicated screen wash. And some screen wash has to be diluted, and some are already made up, and some of them you just put a tiny bit in, and then the rest with water. But it's best to use distilled water, but you can use water from the tap. So let's have a look at the radiator, and got a cap. So these are pressure caps. They will rise up if the pressure within the radiator gets a bit too high. They will automatically pop up and allow water to escape. You see the level in there. It will say on the side of the tank there what level it should be. It should give you a minimum and a maximum, and we need to be in between the two. So this one takes a G60 fluid. But you can consult your manual and that will tell you what you need. And just for example, there's some Castrol antifreeze, and that goes in there. And this is a general engine bay check. So we always check the levels of the radiator there, and look at the belts down there. Make sure they're all running fine, not slipping or anything. We check the oil, which will be shown soon, and then make sure the battery terminals are all good. Make sure there's no leads hanging out or falling apart, and it's just a little check on every nut and bolt that we can see. Just make sure it's all good and dandy. Why don't you get yourself a nice tea or a coffee or even a nice bowl of milk? So next we're looking at engine oil, and this is a really important one, and it's one that a lot of people don't bother to do. So the engine oil lubricates the metal parts of the engine and allows fluid motion, and this prevents seizure and a very costly bill indeed. So your manual would describe the type of viscosity that you will need for your engine. So on the manual or on the car at the front, it will actually tell you what you need to what oil you need. So what you do is put out the dipstick as shown there, give it a wipe, and at the bottom of the dipstick, it will actually show you a lower level and a high level, as you see there, so indented low and high. So it must be in between the two. It says low level, there's the high level, and it must be in between the two. That's the area you want. If it's too low, you can damage the engine. Too high, you'll just be popping out big black blobs of smoke, and might even be pulled over by the fuzz. So once you done a little wipe, you push the rod back in completely, and then give it a second, and then put it out, and then test it again, and that will show us what we need. Also, it's best to do this on a cold engine and on a level, so make sure the car's level is not leaning to one side, so otherwise it could give you a false result. And if it does need some oil, and that's where we're going to go next. So we have a feather cap on the right hand side there. All you do is twist it anti-clockwise to remove it. And let's have a quick look at the feather cap. Make sure there's no sludge or anything in there. It can be an indicator of a poorly engine. Doesn't 100% mean that, but it could be indicated. So there's the hole to put the oil in, but there's the cap. So I would say we're just going to have a little check. Make sure it all looks good. It looks good. So then we're going to get the oil, and that's what's recommended for this vehicle. That's in the engine bay. The one I'm using is slightly different, but it's fine for this engine. It's a mobile one rather than a Castrol. And this one's got its own little funnel knob on there, so we don't have to put a funnel on. If it hasn't, then all you do is put a funnel on the top, and then just pop into the funnels, pop into the engines, and make sure we've got no leakage. Once you've done that, you put the cap back on and test it again, and then hopefully all good to go on that front. So next we're looking at tyres. So you need to have at least 1.6 mil over the centre 3/4 breadth of the tyres. So there's the centre, the little three bits in the middle there. There's the centre, and you've got to have at least 1.6 mil depth over that period of tyre. And also we need to know what tyre pressure they are. So in this vehicle, it has the tyre pressure depending on the load, how many people are in there, how much luggage. You see, it gives the PCA, PSI, so it's pounds per square inch of air. Next, we make sure there's no bulges or damage, bits missing out the tyre. Make sure the tyre's in good uh, good condition, etc. Now let's have a quick look at the numbers that are on the side of the tyre because they're quite important. So the numbers got there is 215 by 45 R16. So you can see on the thing there. We also got a 90V, and we've got extra load written on there. So let's have a look at the numbers in one in hand. So 215, what that relates to is the actual width of the tyre. So how much how much tread you got going from the width wise. Then the 45 is the sidewall, how tall the sidewall is, and that's in relation as a percentage against the width of the actual tyre itself. And then the R16 is the radius of the tyre, so it's a 16-inch wheel. Going from the middle out to the tyre is 16 inches. We could talk about tyre sizes, sort of wheel sizes at another time. And then it said extra load, and just means the tyre is reinforced, so it might be for weight or for speed. So next, we're going to take the dust caps off. So we see the little prong that's on there. Take the little cap off. Then this will measure the amount of air inside the tyre. So all you do is push down hard, a quick jolt of air will come out, and that'll push out the level and tell us how much air is in. So you just sort of push it back in. So we've got just under 30 psi, which is ideal for what I need it for. Then you just push that back in. These little devices are available from Motorist Centre or from places like TMU or Wish. And double check it, just make sure we didn't get a false reading. Excuse me, on the first time. And then once we're happy with that, we put the dust cap back on and we go around and check the others. Now going back to how much tread we need, if you have a look on the tyres, you see there's a little knobby bit, little piece of rubber. Now if that's flush with the rest of the tyre, then the tyre needs replacing because that little knob is a 1.6 mil from the inner. So if that's if the tyre is flush with everything, then you need to replace the tyres. This is a little tester to test how much rubber is actually on the tyre. So all I do is I push out the little orange thing, and it's quite stiff, but you just push it out, and then find different parts of the tyre, push it in against the tread, and that will give us an indication of how much tread the tyres are on. So as you can see from there, I'm a little bit blurry, but this one's got, I think it's about 5 mil of tread, so it's absolutely fine for the current conditions. And then we double check on another part because some parts of the tyre will wear differently, and that's an indication of different problems. I see that there's a tiny piece of metal hanging out of there, so I'm just going to mark that on there and put a side marker just so when I go down to repair shop that I know exactly where that piece of metal is. And because it's on the inner part of the tyre, that should be able to be replaced. If it's on the wall of the tyre, i.e. the outskirts, then it may need a brand new tyre. But there we are, a nice little bit of metal that somebody's left on the floor and I have to pick up. Now to pump up the tyres, I'm going to use a battery operated one. It's just easier to walk around rather than connecting a pump to the engine, having the engine running. So all you do is take the Tuscar off again and tighten this little knob up against the tyre itself. And then I did forget how to operate the this little machine. So I'm just fumbling around trying to get it to work, but it will work, and I will show you it working in a moment. So with the digital pump, what I do is type in the number that's required of the psi, or even you can put it in as a bar amount, which is another unit of testing of putting in how much air you need in. Typing it in and then pressing OK, and the machine will start, and it would pump it up until the desired level. Once it's reached that desired level, it will turn itself off. So let's see how it does. As you see, it's whirling away and then pumped up those tyres in half a psi increment. And once it's finished, then it automatically turns itself off. Then I need to disconnect the battery pump from the tyre and then put the dust cap back on. And finally, we can have a look at the windscreen wipers. All you want to do is give them a tiny bit of water and then wipe them with a nice clean cloth, and that will make it all nice and bushy. So please like, share, subscribe, and comment below. We're also on TikTok and on the next video. When you fart, does that air contain any oxygen? And if it does, can you live that off that oxygen in a bit of a pickle?